I think AI's ranking and AI search is both easier and harder than traditional search. It's easier because the AIs are so specific that anybody can get floated if you know who your audience is and you have branded and niche down properly. So I think EWR is doing a brilliant job with it, where they found the term regulated. It's it's one word and it covers so much, and it covers exactly what they do. You can use that to go into all their different niches. It's a great example of one. It's harder because you can't just make one page and rank. So, like you said, you have to check all these boxes first before AI will probably start pulling you. But if you're know what you're doing and you check those boxes, you can actually punch way above your weight and compete against bigger brands, I think, in AI today.
Well, and I'll just say EWR, the sponsor of this podcast, I don't mention a lot, agency both Connor and I are part of, is um there's a lot of risk associated with what you're doing, and you really got to know what you're doing. And there's a lot of fly by night industry or agencies out there. And, you know, I think AI is helping people figure out who really specializes in what I do.
Yes.
Because there's not like a general consensus on how to look at agencies or how to evaluate companies or who's good at SEO or not. There's kind of like, here are some frameworks, here's some different ideas, but it's not like SEO is like, do these 5 things and you're done. And I think a lot of people think that with maybe technical SEO, there's certainly improvements that you can make, but there's like a perfect score for one keyword that if you're going after that, you exclude all these other keywords, and you're trying to balance it. But if you change a few things, it could re-rank you on a number of different areas. And it's like, where's the level of knowledge that you need to have to hire somebody? And you got to be careful what people are doing. There's a lot of black hat stuff that's starting to happen I don't want to really go into that too much on this podcast, but I'm seeing a lot of people get really frustrated and starting to do a lot of really spammy stuff or negative stuff that's going to bite clients in the end, or you got to start thinking about how to protect yourself, because people are not just everybody's following the rules and doing the right thing out there today. Like, and with the couple clicks of a button, you can create a lot of damage for brands that are out there. And it doesn't take a lot of effort on your part.
Big time. And I think if I can just take that and segue it to, one of the reasons why, we love EWR as a garden partner, why we refer certain clients to them, is we can talk about that and really get into this transition I see happening, where as AI becomes more dominant, I think social selling and soft skills are going to become more important.
Yes. Yeah.
And this idea of a partner ecosystem, my impression of that term when I was early in my career is, okay, that's a term you really hear at enterprise companies and B2B companies, really. And that's like a model for big industries and systems of scale. But now we're really sprinting towards a world of big companies and lots of small agencies, small firms, solopreneurs. And really I think it's going to become a localized economy, basically. I think working with people like who are such a diverse guy, who you've worked in multiple industries, you've worked in sales and marketing, when we need a video person, the right guy. When we need a paid ads person, the right guy. It's really important to build up your networks like that, because everybody's going to be gamifying how to game these algorithm engines. And authentic connection, authentic referrals, authentic trust is what you need going forward.
You touched on something interesting. I want to talk quickly about the future next, and then we can wrap up. But man, having a trusted voice out there and knowing what's real. Like, I'm going through all these ethics and compliance training, and we were talking a little bit about bad actors, and I liked your bridge to this topic, because people don't know what's real anymore and don't know what's trusted, and people can generate mass content at scale. And really, when you go back to eat, expertise, authority, trust, and then they added experience, like who is the trusted voice? And a lot of the body of work that I have about building your brand and things early on, way before AI, was you have to be that trusted advisor, that person that people listen to, that go to build that network, because there's a lot of noise out there. I mean, everybody's death by email. Like, you don't know who the right person is or where the right person is, but I trust this guy and this guy knows and has his finger on the pulse. So I'm going to go to him and get my information. And we've been talking about this, and like building your list and building your database and owning your name. Like, there's been a lot of changes and people are losing Facebook groups and different kind of accounts. In some ways you still have to build on these platforms, but knowing that you're that person for a group of people and they will send you referrals and you do good work, that's how the ecosystem starts. And having the right people to do it, because everybody can't do everything, I think is really a beautiful thing. But brands that are out there can win against the big boys if they identify who they are, who their target market is, get that information out there and do that. And a big faceless brand's not going to do that. You're seeing big brands start to get that message and build different influencers and things to go after that target persona. I would tell you, there's this constant shift in the marketplace, and you need to have that trusted advisor as you move forward in that. And I would even tell you, LLM visibility, like you've talked about it a few times, I think it's going to actually move to AI visibility. And when I say AI visibility, not just LLMs, we're seeing now there being issues of privacy with the meta glasses that are coming on. You're walking into an area, you're recording stuff or proprietary information, the surveillance state, that data getting uploaded, getting misused, getting misappropriated. And like, there's just going to be so much data out there that you're now optimizing. Like, we've heard voice, now we're, Google glasses and meta glasses are getting sucked into it. That's why multimodal, modal point, we brought kind of that tonality in, because I think that LLMs are just the start of a new world that is getting created. And you're going to want to be found in brands and using tools like Carrot across all these different platforms. And it's constantly going to evolve. And if you're doing your job or you're running your business or whatever it may be, you need to know, who can I listen to get these updated information? What tools am I going to use that's going to stay on top of this? And you find that partner. If that partner can continue to stay on top of it and deliver value, that's going to be 90% of it. And you're going to see, I think, loyalty in these networks really tighten up. And to your point, it's not going to be just a channel partnership, but it's going to be an ecosystem and a community.
Mm-hmm. And whether you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, or you're just an in-house employee and you don't want to run your own business ever, either way, I think this also dovetails into the secondary point, which is soft skills are actually going to matter even more, which is maybe counterintuitive to people, because again, AI driven world, isn't it more digital, more virtual? But all of a sudden, all of the biggest opportunities that have come my way in the last year have come because I got on the plane and I went to a conference and I smiled and I was pleasant and I shook hands and I met guys like you and I learned and I just built my network. It's I think especially for millennials and Gen Z, wherever you're at in your career, that's probably the number one thing that is going to give you a boost right now is show up to the place, shake the hands, smile, and make sure you shower and smell good, and try and have something to say. But even if you don't know, man, just go there, learn, and meet people, and that you got to be in the water to catch fish.
Yeah, I mean, community and connection, I think, are so important, especially right after COVID. And I love the advice that you're giving people, because it doesn't matter what platform you're on. Learning to communicate effectively and speak to who you're trying to speak to get them to take whatever action you're trying to get them to take is incredibly important. And I feel like AI is just a mirror, is a mirror to how you want to articulate, who you want to reach, what you want to say, what you want to think, and it just helps you clarify that much better.
Totally.
And I would just say to end this, that's why from a trusted advisor standpoint, people that know what they're doing, people that are staying on the pulse of it, that's again why we trust Carrot as our LLM visibility partner. And I would love for you to talk a little bit more about Carrot, as well as how to get in contact with you, what you're doing, how to reach out to you, that sort of thing. And then we have some special stuff that we're building that we'll have to have you back on when we launch that. To talk about the next phase and the continued relationship between EWR and Carrot.